Hey there, everybody. This is Kristen from Teaching Balance, and I am here with this week's mindful meditation practice. And we are now in the month of letting things go, which is, I can't not talk about it without thinking of the whole Frozen song, let it go, let it go. I'm not going to sing. Nobody wants that. But the premise, even though I believe actually in the movie, if I recall correctly, is a little bit different. What I'm talking about actually is just letting things go. And there's a lot of subtleties to this. This week's practice is going to be more of an easing in, and then next week we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive. But as far as the idea behind it, really the concept is being able to make a choice and then making it when it comes to knowing that you don't have to hold on to things unnecessarily. And so sometimes, if you recall this past month, we were focusing on self-compassion. Sometimes letting it go can be in the form of just letting go of the idea of how you thought it was going to be. So with my frustrations that have been ongoing with technology, thinking that I was going to be able to do X, Y, and Z on a given day, and then of course not being able to, there's something about letting go of that expectation because for whatever reason it was not going to happen, and there was really nothing useful for me to hang on to that. All I was doing was basically just clinging to this thing or this idea or this hope that was not going to occur. And it wasn't really doing me any good. What I needed to do was just let it go, pivot, and then go in another direction. And so that is a part of it. There are other parts to it as well, but I think that's kind of where I'll leave it for this particular practice. So instead of going into letting go of deeper types of things, which we will do next time, I thought that for our practice, what we would do is really just talk about mindfulness and the releasing of thoughts in the context of letting them go. And so I'll be using that language as we're practicing. And that's just kind of the tone that we'll bring to it, but it's a really, I think, useful way to begin down this path of letting things go, because of course sometimes we just don't want to and even when it's in our best interest. So I think this will be a useful baby step forward. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll get my timer going. Find your seat, closing your eyes or lowering your gaze. And taking a few deep breaths. And if you really want to embrace this theme of letting things go, you could even inhale and then exhale, letting go of any tension. Letting go of anything that's been on your mind lately, at least just for these 10 minutes. Letting go of whatever it is that you've been hanging on to without naming it. Just embracing this freshness and the newness of this moment without bringing in anything from before. And if you'd like to rest your attention on the breath, perhaps using the breath as not only an object for our awareness, but also as a teacher. The breath and your breathing is a perpetual process of letting things go, inviting in the air and then letting go of the used air, inviting in oxygen and letting go of carbon dioxide and everything else. Clinging to the breath wouldn't serve us. So it is a very natural teacher for us in that way. Now we are going to try to maintain our attention, to rest our attention on the breath or sounds or the body. So in that sense, we're not letting go of that attention. But of course, this is only a 10-minute practice, so you will be letting go of it all when we're done. But what we are doing is we're letting go of that feeling of obligatorily following our thoughts all the time, all day long. For these few minutes, you get to take a break from that and actually rest in this moment without following your thoughts as you so often do. But of course, thoughts will arise. They will lead you away. They might be in the form of memories, thinking of something that occurred earlier or in the past. They might be plans or worries about the future. Once you've noticed that memory or that plan, just seeing it for what it is, and then letting it go. And bring your attention back to this moment. This is all you need right now. And if you'd like to rest your attention on sounds, noticing in many cases, sounds will often come and go. Perhaps there might be a sound that has a constant quality like heat or air conditioning, but it will end. And so just resting your attention on that sound and letting go of any inclination to try to figure it out or label it in any way. And just notice it from moment to moment. And as those thoughts arise, compassionately and kindly seeing them for what they are, just images, sounds, and language, and then letting them go, exercising that choice. You don't have to stay with the thought. You can come back to the present and ground yourself in this moment and take that rest. And then, of course, you can rest your attention on the body, either in its entirety or just a part. When it comes to the body, when we rest our attention on it, sometimes you might notice a little discomfort or something that feels a little off that you didn't notice before. And I'd like to invite you to let go of any inclination to fix it or figure it out or adjust it, or even to think about how much better it would be if it weren't there. And just be present with it. Just noticing things as they are and letting go of that assessing and evaluating, fixing, and just rest. Let go of everything else and just rest your attention in this moment right now. Noticing where the mind is in this moment, and if it's lost in thought or emotion, letting it go and coming back yet again. And you might even have the experience of thinking about this experience itself, how you feel about this meditation as opposed to the last meditation, either in the structure or how your own experience is, comparing, evaluating how it's going for you. And I would invite you to, not surprisingly, let go of that as well, and just be here in this moment. So let's go ahead and sit in silence for a little while, noticing the thoughts as they arise and letting them go, noticing and letting them go. Noticing where the mind is right now. And if the mind has wandered, letting go of whatever images in your mind, whatever thoughts are there, and bring your attention back with kindness and gentleness. Noticing where the mind is now, and letting go of thoughts and emotions, and playing with the possibility of holding your attention in the present moment until the final bell rings. So that was 10 minutes. Obviously, I used the phrase "let it go" quite a bit. Hopefully, that wasn't too much for you. But there is something to be said for letting that phrase kind of sink in on a deeper level. That you can exercise that choice, that option to let things go. And sometimes it doesn't feel like we want to for a variety of reasons. Maybe you're feeling anger about something, or you're feeling a sense of like outrage, and you like what it feels like. There's this sense of satisfaction associated with it, and that's okay. I would just invite you to notice if that's the case, and really see that emotion for what it is, and feel it if you want to choose to continue to feel it, but know that you don't have to. That maybe if you want to play with letting go, even of the kinds of emotions and thoughts that have some satisfying qualities to them, just getting better at that and playing with it, and getting more practice with it, I think could be really interesting. So until next week, best wishes to you, and I hope you have a really, really great week ahead. And of course, thank you so much, not only to take this time to practice for yourself, but also for choosing to practice with me. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.